What's up guys and welcome back to Mid-Level Media, and I am here today for another collection video. This time I'm going to show off my entire A24 Blu-ray collection and a couple of 4Ks in there. But yeah guys, last time I said I was going to do my entire Blu-ray collection next, but I thought, why not separate some of my favorite films from the past 10 years and kind of do a separate collection video with them. So I'm going to go ahead and start off my Blu-ray run with this A24 collection. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. And so I've made it my mission to try to collect every single A24 title with a slipcover. Some I've been successful at, some I have not. But that's why going forward, I'm trying to buy every A24 film, no matter if I've seen it or not, no matter if I like it. But just every time it comes out in stores with a slipcover, I'm buying the movie. And I just love A24. I love collecting for them. Like I said in my video, my mid-level physical media report earlier this week, like the A24 slipcovers, that's just my favorite. I don't know why. I just love them and I love collecting for them. So let's go ahead and get into the first one, guys. And this one I got at Walmart a couple weeks ago. It's probably my most recent A24 pickup, and it's without the slipcover, but it was $5. And that's the Spectacular Now. So this movie stars Miles Teller and Shailene Woodley, and this is a really good film. It feels like one of those kind of the Fault in My Stars, A Walk to Remember type movies, just kind of cheesy romance movies. But it's actually really good movie. I love this movie. I watched it on Netflix a couple years ago. It's a really great movie with some great performances. Brie Larson's actually in the film as well, so it's a good movie. I recommend checking it out. So the next one, guys, let's go on to the Robert Pattinson and Guy Pearce starring The Rover, which is a film I actually have not seen yet. So it's one of Pattinson's films that I haven't seen, but I'm looking forward to checking it out at some point. And this is some kind of post-apocalyptic road type movie. But yeah, I actually found this one at a half-price books with the slipcover, so I was very excited about that. Next one, guys, is a film that I love from 2017, and that is The Florida Project. This film is freaking just phenomenal. I love the way it's shot, the way it's acted, the way it's performed. They actually got an unknown actress, and she's not even really an actress. She was just some girl that was on Instagram or whatever. It's kind of like what they did with the next movie I'm going to talk about. And she was great in it, and Brooklyn Pierce, the little girl, is phenomenal in the film. And yeah, I just love this movie. It almost cracked my top 10 of 2017, but didn't quite. But it's a fantastic film if you haven't seen The Florida Project. So unfortunately, I didn't get this one with the slipcover because I bought it later after it came out. But let's move on to the next one, guys. And we have one of my favorites from last year. It's in my top 3 of 2019, and that is Adam Sandler's Safdie brother film, Uncut Jim. So this is probably my favorite slipcover that A24's done. I just love the metallic lettering in it, and how it's kind of it's not really embossed, but it's kind of glossy right there in that spot, and the rest of the slipcover feels great. Let's look at the back right there. So yeah, that's a fantastic release, and I'm super excited about having this one. I was so excited when it came out, but love the film as well. So let's move on to Good Time, guys. And this is a Robert Pattinson A24 film that I have seen. It's an excellent film. Also directed by the Safdie brothers, and both films that the Safdie brothers have done are so fantastic. Just raw, gritty crime thrillers, and it's an awesome film from 2017. So I recommend, if you have not seen Good Time, check it out. It's actually on Netflix right now. If you want to see why Pattinson is going to make a phenomenal Batman, regardless if he's working out or not, go ahead and watch Good Time. Another Pattinson A24 film, guys, and that seems to be the theme here. We got The Lighthouse. So a lot of people really love this film from last year. I came away a little disappointed because I love The Witch. It's one of my favorite horror movies of the past decade. But yeah, this is a freaking awesome slipcover. It's probably my second favorite. I love the black and white, and it's just so smooth feeling. It has that real glossy feel to it, and it's a spectacular slipcover that I love. Takes excellent pictures as well. The next one, guys, is my favorite horror film, and I'm so upset I don't have the slipcover to this, but this is my favorite horror film of the past decade, and that's The Witch. So just a phenomenal film. Phenomenal film. And this was actually one of the first Blu-rays that I bought like 3 years ago, maybe 6 years ago. Not six, but maybe 4 years ago. So I'm happy to own this. But I definitely need to upgrade to a 4K at some point. But let's move on to another one, guys. And this is another film that came out last year that I have mixed feelings on, and that is Midsummer, Ari Aster's follow-up to The Hereditary. And I really kind of tricked myself into liking this film more than I actually did when I saw it in theaters. But when I watched it at home again, I really started to not like it. And it's one that, it's to the point where I don't want to not like it because I love Ari Aster, Hereditary, and I really like his style. There's got a lot of good qualities to this film. So, I'm going to let it sit for a while. I'm not going to watch this again because it really just made me angry last time I watched it. I'm going to let it sit, and I'm going to watch it again in maybe 2 or 3 years, and I'm going to see if my opinion changes. But, yeah, that's Midsummer. Another one, guys, this is one of my favorites from the last decade. This film is so special. If you have not seen it, check it out. That's Enemy. Jake Gyllenhaal and Denis Villeneuve directed this film. And I believe that this is the only film that Denis Villeneuve did with A24. And it might be the only film that Jake Gyllenhaal has done with A24. But phenomenal movie. I love this movie. I'm not going to say too much about it because if you haven't seen it, go watch it on Netflix. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's so good. Such a good kind of dark thriller kind of. But this next one, guys, is one I have not seen, and that's A Most Violent Year with Oscar Isaac and Jessica Chastain. So I have not seen this one yet. I found it at a half-price books for about $4, so I was happy to find it there, but unfortunately no slipcover. The next one, guys, another film I'm a little mixed on. That's The Lobster, of course, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos and starring Colin Farrell and Rachel Weisz. And this is a movie that I need to go back and rewatch because I love Yorgos Lanthimos' Killing of a Sacred Deer and The Favorite. So I saw this back in 2016. I might not have been ready for it back then. So after seeing The Favorite and Killing of a Sacred Deer and loving them, I'm going to go back and rewatch this one at some point to see if it hits me a little bit better. But let's move on to the next one, guys. Another divisive one. This is First Reformed, and I like parts of this movie. I really didn't like the ending, and that's what a lot of people say. But it has a very fantastic film style to it. The writing is really good by Paul Schrader. The performances are fantastic. But yeah, it just ends very anticlimactic to me, and it kind of leaves you with that cold feeling that the entire film was pointless. Though not a huge fan of First Reform, but here's a film that I am a huge fan of, and that is Ari Aster's Hereditary. And this, to me, is in my top 5 favorite movies of the past decade. It was in my top 3 the year it came out, or maybe top 5. And it's so creepy. I remember seeing this in the theater and just sitting in the seat. And when that scene happens in the middle, and everybody knows what that scene is, like I just kind of sunk back in my chair, and I felt like I got hit with a freaking train. Like it completely just knocked the wind out of me, that scene. And it's so fantastically performed, by Alex Wolff and Toni Collette. But it's such a good movie, and like this solidified Aster to me as a filmmaker that I'm going to see everything he does from now on, because this movie is like a modern masterpiece. And it's one that I truly believe in years that we're going to be talking about on the level of an Exorcist or a Shining. That's how good it is. So I will see everything he does, regardless of the fact that I didn't love Midsummer. But let's move on to the next one, guys. This is another terrific film from last year, Waves. And I actually saw this film after I did my list, my top 10 of 2019, because this film might have actually ended up on there had I seen it before. It is an emotionally moving, dramatic piece of cinema, and it's a complete work of art. And it's got some. It's like 2 movies in one, and some people weren't on board with the shift, but I was, and I thought that as good as the first half was in the performances, I thought a lot of the really great emotional scenes took place in the second half, and I really loved the movie. So moving on, though, to the next one. This is from 2019 as well, starring Robert Pattinson again, and that is High Life. And I still have not seen High Life, I really need to watch it. I need to sit down and have a Pattinson A24 double feature. It's High Life and the Rover. And yeah, I do love this slipcover though. I bought it when it came out, just to have it. And the next one, guys, is a film that I love, Yorgos Lanthimos again, Killing of a Sacred Deer. This is a freaking dark and twisted movie, and it's so good, and just the way that it progresses, and just the tone of it, and the way Colin Farrell and Nicole Kidman are just, they just feel so perfectly in sync and down to do what Yorgos Lanthimos needs them to in this movie. And then, of course, you got kind of the breakout performance by Barry Keoghan, who's freaking just, he's so creepy in this movie as that kid, and he's so monotone and dry in his delivery, but he's freaking terrifying in the role. And it's a great movie if you have not seen it. The next film, guys, is, in my opinion, it might be my least favorite A24 film, as much as I don't like Midsummer. A lot of people love this movie, but I freaking hated it when I watched it. But Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson. I think Scarlett Johansson is really good in this movie. She shows a side of herself that I don't think I've seen in any other performance or film that she's done. But I really did not like this movie. I found it to be just so pretentious in its artistic vision. And I don't know, guys. There's a scene where she like involving a baby, and it just made me sick to my stomach, like that scene. And I was like, I don't even know how you get away with putting that in a movie. It's I don't know, it's so weird, and it's just weird for the sake of being weird, and it's just I hate movies that, I love artsy fartsy movies, as they would call them. But I just hate it when there's no substance behind it. Like, I felt nothing watching this movie. It just felt like a bunch of things happening that were weird and sick and twisted. And Scarlett Johansson's really great, but I don't know. I'm not down for that movie at all. Another kind of divisive film from a few years ago, 2017, you got It Comes at Night, starring Joel Edgerton. You got Riley Keough in this movie as well. And I really like this movie, and I need to go back and rewatch it again, but I like the kind of slow build and the tension that you felt in the film as it progressed and stuff. And I didn't figure that this was going to be a full-on, a lot of people thought it was going to be full-on like zombie apocalypse type movie. And I never thought that. I never got that when I watched the trailers. I always knew it was kind of going to be a little bit more methodical in its approach and slow in nature. So when I got to watch it, like it was pretty much exactly the kind of film that I was ready for. So I think that's why I enjoyed it a little bit more than most people did. But yeah, It Comes at Night is a really good film. I enjoy it. Another one, guys, this coming of age movie from a couple years ago. You got mid-90s, and this is the first film that's directed by Jonah Hill. And this is a really strong directorial debut. Like, I'm really interested in seeing where Jonah Hill goes as a filmmaker because of this film. It's not, I was hoping before I saw this that this was going to be kind of the 90s version of 8th Grade, which is a film I'm going to get to a little later. And I really love 8th Grade. This film didn't quite reach the emotional, kind of realistic heights that one did. But it's a really kind of stunning character piece, and there's a lot of good work in here by the performances. The kid's really great. You got Lucas Hedges as the brother. He's really great. The mom's great. There's some good performances here. It just overall, as a narrative, as a film, it didn't come together as strongly for me as I would have liked. But mid-90s, still a really solid film. Another one, guys, we got directed by James Franco, The Disaster Artist, and I freaking love this film. I think it's one of the few great kind of comedic movies from the past few years, and I would go on a limb and call this a comedy. At least satirical in nature, the way they kind of parody Tommy Wiseau and The Making of the Room and all that, and it also just has a great performance by Franco, and in particular his brother Dave Franco. They're both great in it together. It's a nice tale of friendship, and it ends really strongly, and it's just a hilarious movie. I love The Disaster Artist. So moving on, guys, and this is another kind of divisive one, but it's one that I love, and that's A Ghost Story. And I remember as I was watching this movie, I didn't love it. I kind of thought it was a little weird and pretentious, kind of like I thought Under the Skin was. But then you got to that ending, and everything just came together for me in those last 10, 15 minutes with the thing that they did. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's this weird kind of interdimensional time traveling type stuff, and it's great. I just love the ending of the movie, and it recontextualized the entire rest of the film for me. So I need to go back and rewatch that one as well, because I love it. I love that film. And the next one, guys, is you got The Farewell. And this is, of course, starring Awkwafina. It came out last year, and this was a very critically praised film. I really liked the film. I didn't love it. I like Awkwafina's performance in it, but some of the emotional beats didn't really hit for me as well. And they were trying to do comedy and emotion at the same time, and it works largely, but it just didn't work as strongly as I would have liked it to hit me in all the right ways. But still a very good movie, and I recommend you checking it out. Another one, guys, we got Lady Bird, and this is a great movie from 2017, nominated for Best Picture, with Greta Gerwig, directed by Greta Gerwig, starring Saoirse Ronan, her kind of her go-to actress, and then you got Laurie Metcalf, and yeah, I love Saoirse. She is really great in this. I think she kind of reached her peak potential as an actress with Little Women. I thought she was a whole lot better in that movie, but I think she's really good in this. It just, same with some of the other ones. It's a coming of age movie, but some of the emotional beats didn't hit me, and some of them felt a little bit overdone. In particular, the relationship with her and her mother, I didn't get the full weight of that emotion in those performances. Not as much as I would have liked anyway, and it's a lot of teen drama stuff. And I thought it was a little bit overhyped when it came out, but I do really like the movie. I don't think it's as great as some people make it out to be. The next movies I'm going to go over, guys, I think that they're all great. One of them is one of my favorite films from the past decade, and that's Moonlight. I think I brought this up on the Physical Media Report earlier this week. This is my favorite slipcover. One of my favorite slipcovers that I have in my collection. I know I said Uncut Gems earlier, but this might be it. I love the blues and the purples and the colors. And this is a movie that just I've seen it 4 times now, I think, and it hits me harder every single time I watch it. And the performances by Mahershala Ali, Javante Rhodes, like this, such a great cast. Like, I love this movie. Yeah, it's one of my favorite films from the past 10 years for sure. But let's move on, guys. And this is a fantastic coming-of-age movie, 8th Grade. It's just so raw and realistic. And Bo Burnham and directing, and Elsie Fisher as the girl, like, she's fantastic. And this is a movie that it hit me in all the right spots. It's the perfect way to do it. And, if I would recommend this movie to any girl that's coming of age, like 13, 14, 15 years old, because it's just a fantastic movie to watch and relate to. I can imagine if you're a young girl. So 8th Grade is fantastic. Definitely check that one out. Next one, guys, is I got Ex Machina, and I have it in 2 editions. I got the 4K and the Blu-ray of Ex Machina, and yeah, I love this movie. I think it's a masterpiece. It's probably in my top 5 of the past decade. It's easily the best sci-fi film to come out in maybe 30 years. Like, I think it's that good. Alicia Vikander, Domhnall Gleeson, Oscar Isaac, so freaking great in this movie. And it's just, the ending will blow you away. It will unsettle you. It'll do all the things. And yeah, this movie is fantastic. Great visual effects, great performances, great writing. It's just such fantastic direction by Andrew Garland. And yeah, I love Ex Machina. So, but that does it, guys, for my entire A24 collection. I hope you liked this video. I hope that you comment down below which one of these were your favorite. So, and I'm going to keep going with my entire Blu-ray collection. Probably the week after next, I'm going to give myself a week off from these collection videos. So, yeah, guys, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like this video, comment down below, and we'll see you next time.